if there's one thing about me, is that I was gifted audacity. And I don't mean arrogance. I mean the ability to walk into spaces that are too big for me anyway. Because what exactly is stopping you from stepping into spaces that are supposedly too big for you? That new job, that content creation journey, your dream career, that thing that keeps you awake at 2 a.m. just thinking about it. You see, I used to have a friend who would stop me every time I tried to better myself. When I wanted to start recording, she'd say, um, the camera could be better. When I wanted to learn editing, she'd tell me, ah, but then your editing isn't that good. When I wanted to post, ah, but no one is going to watch it anyway. You'll get like 2 views, and that's from you and your friend. When I wanted to apply to a new job, she'd tell me, but then your CV isn't good enough. I don't think you're good enough for that. But then when you sit down and think, does this friend seem familiar? I know to a lot of you she seems familiar because that friend was me. That was the version of me that kept holding me back, telling me that you're not ready to be seen until everything is perfect. The version of me that thought confidence had to come before action. That version of me that kept waiting to become magically, okay. And everything changed when I cultivated one trait. And that trait is audacity. I think that a lot of us were taught that we need permission before we start. The permission to be confident, the permission to take up space, the permission to call ourselves talented, the permission to try. And honestly, especially as young people, from my experience, we're taught that we need to shrink ourselves until we're qualified enough. You need more experience, you need more followers, you need better equipment, you need to wait for your turn. But then the older that I get, the more I realize that most opportunities are occupied by people who simply decided to go for it. And not necessarily the smartest people, not always the most talented people, just the people audacious enough to try. And that realization genuinely, I think, changed my life. Because I used to think confidence was something that people were born with. Like some people just naturally wake up believing in themselves, and the rest of us have to just live with who we are, figuring it out. But then confidence is usually built after the action. Like you have to go forward and do what you're scared of, what you believe you need confidence for, to gain that confidence. So essentially, it's a paradox. And that's the part that nobody necessarily tells you. You don't become confident and then start. You start and then confidence follows. Because with this life, you fake it until you make it. You act like you already have the life that you want until you have the life that you want. Personally, I think a lot of people confuse audacity with arrogance. Audacity is not walking into a room and believing that you're the best out of everyone there. It's walking into a room and believing that you deserve to be there too. Like, this space is also meant for me. And that's such an important difference, because for the longest time, I thought that being humble meant doubting myself constantly. Like, I thought minimizing myself would make me much more likable. And I thought saying, I'm probably not good enough, made me realistic. But all it really did was genuinely keep me small. And the craziest part is, people with half your skill set are occupying your dreams. People with half your talent will apply anyway. People with less experience, less followers, less confidence than you, less resources than you, will set up that camera and post. Still create, still speak up, still launch the business, still send the email. And meanwhile, genuinely capable people will literally sit down, wasting away their potential, thinking that, I think that I need to earn the right to deserve this. And that's why audacity matters. Not because it guarantees you success, But then, because without it, you will genuinely never give yourself a chance. I think one of the saddest things that I've come to realize in this life is how much potential dies in private. Like, we have ideas that never leave notebooks, videos that stay in drafts, applications that are never sent, dreams that become maybe one day. Not because people weren't capable, it's because they were scared. They lacked the audacity, and they were mostly afraid of looking stupid. And trust me, I personally understand that fear deeply, because I'm not going to be putting myself out there to be embarrassed. Like, be for real, I'm not doing that. Because posting online is vulnerable, trying something new is vulnerable, applying to a job with a skill set that is stated in the JD that I lack is vulnerable, being seen trying is vulnerable. Why? Because it's human nature to judge others. What if you fail publicly? What if you tell everyone that you applied to that job and you end up not getting that job? What if you start your content creation journey and then it never takes off? But then what if nobody cares? Because literally nobody cares. Because you know what hurts more than embarrassment? It's regret. Living with the regret that you gave up on that dream before you even gave yourself a chance. The feeling that you yourself abandoned yourself before the world even had the chance to do so. That feeling, trust me, stays with you much longer. And I had to realize that I was self-rejecting constantly, because to be honest, I was saying no to myself before life ever could. I was disqualifying myself from opportunities that I secretly wanted. And that's not humility. That's not humility. Why are you being humble? That's fear wearing humility as a costume. Personally, at some point, I genuinely just got tired. Like, I won't lie to you. I got tired of overthinking every little thing, tired of waiting to feel ready, tired of imagining a different version of myself, but then never allowing her to exist in real life. And I feel like, just to be honest, I was tired of being broke. I am tired of being broke. I am tired of holding myself back before I realize the potential that I know I can achieve. And the future version of me that I admire so much, she only existed because she started before she felt she was ready. Because if I were to talk to myself 5 years from now, let's say I do keep up with this, and she tells me, right now I'm very discouraged. I do not want to stay in my degree program. I do not want to start the content creation journey. And she comes to me and tells me, if you stick with this is the kind of life that you'll have. And she shows me everything that I've ever wanted and that I've ever achieved. Do you want to tell me you won't keep posting? Even if you post 100 videos, living with the clarity and the surety and the sureness that in the future I have these things, that will keep you going. But then without her having to come to you and tell you, okay, you've already achieved these things, why can't you just do them? Because that version of me wasn't fearless. The version of you that's in the future, she's not fearless. She was just audacious enough to start and invest herself. Your effort will pay off. And personally, I started learning publicly instead of waiting to be perfect privately. And no, everything didn't magically become easy overnight, because I've told you, I put in the work. There were a lot of times that I'd average an average sleep time of like 4 hours per night. And personally, I still doubt myself sometimes. Like, I have done multiple interviews. I've gotten good feedback from those interviews. But then I still doubt myself sometimes, because it's human nature to overthink. And I still have moments where that inner voice comes back and she says, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? But then now I answer differently. And I ask myself, why not me? Why can't I be the person that goes for it? Why can't I be seen? Why can't I succeed? Why can't I take up space? Because somewhere along the way, I stopped treating my dreams like they belong to other people. Like, these were my dreams. I needed to put in the work. to make them happen. And personally, I think audacity is an art because it requires you to believe in possibilities that do not exist yet, like at all. It requires you to continue despite uncertainty, despite inexperience, despite fear. And honestly, every person you admired started as someone unknown. That Mr. Beast, that favorite influencer that you like to follow. People started from the ground up. They showed up on the internet. They showed up in spaces where they believed they didn't belong. But then they forced themselves to believe that, you know what? I actually belong here. Every creator you loved once uploaded to nobody. Every successful person, the Elon Musks, the Mark Zuckerberg of the world, they felt unqualified. Every confident person that you've ever met had shaky beginnings. Personally, my friends tell me that I'm very confident. I have a very loud personality. I don't know if it's visible through the screen. But then if you were to go back and meet me from 6 years ago, I wouldn't say the same. I was very different, but then I had to cultivate that skill. And the difference is I didn't let uncertainty stop me from beginning. Your favorite content creators, they didn't let that uncertainty stop them from beginning. And maybe that's what you need to do yourself. No more perfection, no more waiting, not another sign from the universe. Maybe you just need audacity. The audacity to apply, the audacity to record, the audacity to post, the audacity to create badly at first, the audacity to believe your life can become bigger than it currently is. Because the life you want probably is on the other side of you believing in yourself. It's waiting for you outside your comfort zone. And maybe the most life-changing thing that you can do is stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what happens if I actually do succeed? You don't need permission to begin, my dear. You just need the audacity to try.